Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into it.
Recently, fans of mechanics got used to the existence of automatics, as a new type of box entered the market. We are talking about variators. Recently, automakers have started to actively implement this type of gearboxes in their cars, and they can be found both on compact city hatchbacks and on crossovers. At the same time, not everyone understands the essence and principle of work of the variator, its strengths and weaknesses. It is worth finding out before deciding to buy a car with this type of transmission. What it is. Many people are legitimately interested in what it is and how the variator differs from other gearboxes on the car. But first, a little excursion into history. Before we tell you what a variator gearbox is, it is not superfluous to know when it first appeared in a car. For the first time, the great Da Vinci thought about the principle of variator operation in the 15th century. But the patent for such a development appeared only in the second half of the 19th century. The first car with such a gearbox appeared in the 50s of the last century. Then a variation of the variator was put on the car of DF Company. A little later, the gearbox was installed on Volvo cars. Then the box did not gain much popularity, and production stopped. But the work on improvement has not stopped. Variator is labeled as CVT, which translates as a stepless shifter. But it still does not make it clear what CVT transmission is. A distinctive feature of the node is the ability to change gears in a different order than in a classic automatic. The gears are changed without sequential and constant shifting of speeds. Therefore, the box is called stepless. This is if we talk in simple words about what a variator is and how it works in a car. The CVT is considered to be a type of automatic transmission. Variator is able to function in a wide range. Conventional gears are switched in automatic mode. All processes are controlled by electronics. At the same time, the difference between a modern variator and a classic automatic is impressive. Stepless boxes are more compact and smaller, which is due to their design features. The boxes have a different principle of operation. CVT boasts an optimal combination between the load on the motor and the gear ratio at a moment in time, because changes here occur every second. This is a rough description of what CVT means and what features this gearbox has. From the position of engineering, the variator is considered the best gearbox among all existing ones, but it is not necessary to make hasty conclusions. The technology is still far from perfection. Conditionally understanding what a modern CVT-type gearbox means, it is worth delving into this issue and studying the system in more detail. This will allow not only to grasp the essence, but also to make a decision regarding the purchase of a car with such a transmission. Returning to the question of what CVT means and why such a box in a car is considered optimal. This is due to the absence of variable gears. That is, when the car is moving, there are no jolts characteristic of automatic transmission and robots when changing gears. Speed is gained smoothly and clearly, without jerks. Principle of operation. Next, let's deal with the principle of operation of variators on cars. The functioning of such a box is based on the fact that the torque is constantly changing on the driving and driven disc. The car starts softly and smoothly, which is not the case with other transmissions. It feels like a powerful electric car with smooth acceleration and no noise when gaining speed. Since there is no gear shift as such in CVT, it allows you to increase speed faster. The way it works is that the gearbox smoothly changes gear ratios as the speed increases and decreases. The software plays a huge role in this. In its simplest form, the variator is a driving mechanism in which the rotation from one unit to another is transmitted through an intermediate link. A pair of pulleys acts as the unit. These are wheels with a rim around them and a belt inside. And the intermediate link is in the form of a V-belt, which connects the pulleys. As a result, the box got its name of V-belt variator. Read also, damper, excess or necessity in the case of a CVT, torque is continuously applied to the wheels. Similarly, the gear ratio changes without interruption, which occurs when the engine speed changes, at which point the belt is tightened or loosened. If we talk about the device of the variator, then its design, principle of operation, and constituent elements can vary depending on the specific type of CVT provided for the car. But the main components of the Variator box include pulleys, belt, hydraulic transformer, not available on all models, planetary, gearbox, primary shaft, secondary shaft, differential, electronic system, sensor set, hydraulic fluid, oil, etc. The principle of operation of the boxes is the same, but the design and device are different. Varieties of variators. In total, there are three main types of variators, namely, V-belt mechanism, which is the most common, wedge chain automobile variator, toroidal type of variator box. The V-belt type remains the most relevant and in demand. In the modern version for the V-belt CVT, pulleys based on high-strength metal are used. The belt has been replaced by a set belt based on wear-resistant metal, although previously elastic harnesses were used. The belt has a special coating that prevents the part from wearing out quickly and causing slippage. One of a pair of pulleys is the drive pulley. It connects to the crankshaft of the internal combustion engine and acts as an energy converter. The idler pulley is connected to the wheels of the machine. The pulleys have variable diameters. When the speed is low, the diameter of the driving pulley is minimum and that of the idler pulley is maximum. When the speed is medium, the diameter of the two pulleys is equalized. By changing the size of the pulleys, the gear ratio changes. All the mechanism is controlled by special electronics, collecting information from a variety of sensors. As for the toroidal type of box, it is found mainly on cars with all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive. Toroidal CVT is considered a more complex device. Here, the pulleys are replaced by discs that are stretched into the shape of a cone on one side. In relation to each other, the discs are guided by their pointed ends. The upper disc is the driving disc and the lower disc is the driven disc. The belt tasks are performed by special rollers, which are located on opposite sides directly between the discs, moving along the curves. When they are raised synchronously, the gears are raised. When they are lowered towards the disc, slave disc, the transmission is downshifted. The force is transmitted by friction, i.e., the rollers between the discs start to rub. In terms of reliability, toroidal boxes are better than V-belt boxes. But one key disadvantage changes everything. It's unrepairable. In case of malfunctions, a complete replacement of the variator is required. The chain variator is a variation of the V-belt. There are no significant differences here. Just instead of a belt, a steel chain is used. This type of variator is called a V-belt variator, and it was developed by Audi. A characteristic feature is considered to be an impressive service life, a high level of reliability and resistance to loads. Such CVT is actual to put on trucks. Chain variators are not widespread, as they create a high level of noise during operation. So it turns out that among all existing variants, only the V-belt variator has become widespread and is used on most cars. How to recognize a variator in a car. Some motorists are interested in how you can distinguish the variator box from the automatic visually by external signs. In reality, it is not so easy to do this. The problem is that visually the variator has approximately the same design as the automatic transmission. Because of this, it is quite difficult to visually distinguish between them and determine without additional intervention in the car which transmission is which. This is due to the fact that both automatic transmission and CVT have similar symbols such as park, reverse, drive, etc. on the body of the box. To identify the variator, you can use the description of the car in the documents, information on the internet, plate on the body of the car. Read also features, advantages, and disadvantages of the TFSI motor. You will need the owner's manual, which should describe the box used. Another method involves the use of the VIN code of the vehicle. Through special web services, you can find out all the details of the configuration in a couple of minutes. But it is not necessarily necessary to pay for such information and search for data on the World Wide Web. You can simply look at the plate. There are symbols in it, in which the type of installed gearbox is coded. The easiest way will be identification through a test drive. Drive the car, and you will immediately realize that it is CVT. If there are no jolts, the car accelerates smoothly and without jerks. You have a variator. Advantages and disadvantages. Before deciding to buy such a machine, it is worth knowing what pros and cons the variator has. To the strengths of CVT can be attributed such points: smooth running, high efficiency, excellent level of comfort, active acceleration, absence of kicking and jerking, optimal engine operation mode, fuel efficiency. It should be noted that the service life cannot be called a strong or weak point of the Variator because much depends on the operating conditions. Despite active modernization and introduction of new solutions, the Variator still has many disadvantages. When exceeding loads and aggressive driving, the Variator quickly fails. Oil for such boxes is more expensive than conventional oil. In addition, the oil filter must be changed more often. Such boxes are not designed for cars with engines with more than 220 horsepower. There are severe restrictions on towing. A car with CVT does not like to carry a large load, heavy trailers. This is a car for urban driving at moderate speeds. For thrill seekers, this box is definitely not suitable. If you prefer a measured ride and do not drive with a trailer behind you, the choice in favor of CVT will be a logical decision. Operating rules. Lastly, it is worth talking about how you should drive a Variator box properly and what you should know about the peculiarities of operation. To understand whether it is possible to tow cars with Variators and whether it is really possible to pull a trailer with a Variator. On the car, it is worth looking at the top 5 mistakes of motorists. Sharp acceleration and high speed. If you do not know how to use the Variator correctly, remember the main thing. This box does not like aggressive driving. This is a guarantee of rapid failure of the transmission. The higher the loads, the faster the unit wears out. Operation in off-road conditions. The manufacturers themselves mislead buyers, offering crossovers with CVT. Off-roading is associated with constant slippage, high revolutions. This entails overheating of belts and pulleys. Hitching and slipping can lead to scuffing on the pulleys. Towing a trailer. The Variator does not like to pull a heavy load behind it. CVTs with trailers are therefore a dangerous combination. If you need to regularly haul heavy loads on your car using a trailer, the Variator should be absolutely rejected. The same can be answered to the question of whether you can tow other cars on the Variator. It is better not to do this. And if there is such a need, it is only at a speed of up to 60 kilometers per hour and not more than 50 kilometers. Towing a car. Often motorists are interested in whether it is possible to tow cars with a Variator box. No, you cannot do this in any case. If the car stalled, the car should be loaded on a tow truck or use the method of partial loading. Otherwise, the idler shaft will start to rotate from the car wheels, and as a result, the chain or belt will cut through the stationary shaft. The box will fail. Careless maintenance. CVT is extremely sensitive to the quality of consumables, especially oil. For Variators, a special lubricant is used. It is optimal to change it every 30,000 kilometers. Use only the original liquid recommended by the manufacturer. The Variator has good prospects, but only on condition that work on errors will continue and weaknesses of CVT in the future will be eliminated. In conclusion, understanding Variator transmissions is essential for anyone interested in modern automotive technology. These systems offer seamless acceleration and improve fuel efficiency by continuously adjusting the gear ratio. Whether you're considering a vehicle equipped with a Variator transmission or simply want to expand your automotive knowledge, recognizing the advantages and potential drawbacks can help you make informed decisions. As technology continues to evolve, Variator transmissions are likely to play an increasingly significant role in the future of driving. Thank you for watching, and we hope you found this information valuable.